Pittsburgh, and welcome to the Clean Pittsburgh Commission meeting for April of 2022. My name is Lori Beth Jones. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the co-chair of the Clean Pittsburgh Commission for this calendar year. Thank you for joining us this morning. We will begin our meeting with, as usual, with our introductions. Again, my name is Lori Beth. I'm the co-chair of the commission this year, and I am just a resident from the Grafton Heights neighborhood. So thank you for joining us. I will pass to my co-chair, Chris Mitchell.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Mitchell. I'm an anti-litter specialist with Department of Public Works and co-chair with Lori. I'll go ahead and just kick it over to Amiye.
Hi guys, my name is Amiye Quayle. I'm recycling specialist with the City of Pittsburgh Bureau of Environmental Services. And there's very few of us on live stream, so I guess I'll go with Emily. Hi, Emily.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emily Bourne. I am the communications specialist with both the Departments of Public Work and and the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure. I will go ahead and kick this off to, let's go big. We're going to go Councilman Kraus.
Oh, I don't know how big that is, but I appreciate you saying that. So I'm Councilman Bruce Kraus. I serve the 3rd Council District. I'm in my 15th year as a member of City Council. And believe it or not, I was an original member of the Clean Pittsburgh Commission when it was first formed under Mayor Murphy. And my pronouns are he, his, and him. And good to be here this morning. Thank you for having me. Oh, I have to kick it off to somebody. Who do I kick it off to? How about Kelsey Ripper?
Hi, morning, everyone. I'm Kelsey Ripper. I'm the executive director at Friends of the Riverfront, and I am a resident of Lawrenceville. And I will kick it over to, how about Sally?
Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Sally Stadelman, Councilman Bobby Wilson's chief of staff. My pronouns are she, her. Good to see everybody this morning. I will kick it over to Sarah Kinter, Director Kinter.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Sarah Kinter, Director of the Department of Permits, Licenses, and Inspections for the City of Pittsburgh. I'm a resident of Stanton Heights, and I will kick it to Erica Ninos.
Hi, everyone. My name is Erica Ninos. I use she, her pronouns. I am the sustainability coordinator with the University of Pittsburgh. So I work in the Division of Student Affairs and handle all student-facing sustainability projects at Pitt. And I will kick it to the other Erica, Erica Young.
I don't think her mic is working.
Yeah, Erica, you don't appear to be muted, but we cannot hear you. Erica Young is the secretary of the commission and has a position at Waste Management. She keeps us on track. So thank you so much, Erica. Hopefully you can hear us. And so we'll just continue on. Becca?
Morning, everyone. Becca Simon here. I use she, they pronouns. I'm the policy and land stewardship manager at Grounded Strategies, also a resident of Garfield neighborhood. And I'll pass it to William.
William and David, this is my favorite thing to do, is try to call on our tech support through the city channel. So thank you so much, Becca, for taking care of that so that I didn't have to do it. It looks like Emily from Pennsylvania Resources Council is also having some audio connection issues, but Emily is here. Thank you so much for coming. And so just to stay with PRC for a hot second, how about Sarah Shea?
Hey, everybody. I'm Sarah Shea with Pennsylvania Resources Council. Bruce, congratulations on 15 years.
How are you? It's so
I'm
good.
It's
to see
nice
you.
to see you.
Yeah,
old neighbor from the South Side. But congrats on 15 years being in council. I am currently the co-treasurer with Afton here on the CPC. I use she, her pronouns, and I am currently a suburban outside of the city person now more
And
recently.
we can change that.
It's shame. I know. Well, you know what? It's probably gonna convert back. A couple years in the city, a couple years out. But anyways, nice to see you and your cat, Bruce. Everybody.
This is my guy.
Aw. I will send it to Aaron Tobin.
Morning, everybody. Erin Tobin. I use she, her pronouns. I am professionally with the Pittsburgh Parks Conservancy, community engagement manager, and I live on the north side in Spring Hill. Let's see. Sarah Kinter, have you gone?
Yeah, I think
I
we got
did.
it.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
You're doing great. It's hard to keep track. Like the first 8 people for me were the first 8 people on my screen, and I was like, yes. And then it just all went everywhere. So good work, everybody. We got through the introductions. Up next, I will take this opportunity to read a section of the mission of the Clean Pittsburgh Commission. This month, we will focus on the equity and diversity tenet of our values statement. The Clean Pittsburgh Commission celebrates the 300,000 neighbors in the 90 neighborhoods of Pittsburgh and affirms member representation must be geographically, socioeconomically, and racially diverse in order for the body to be effective, relevant, and creative. The commission recognizes deficiencies and actively engages different perspectives through a platform of mutual respect. This engagement and respect will be a tenet of all regular meetings and all program functions of the commission, as well as present in all communications. When a distinct neighborhood is in focus, initiatives developed with that neighborhood will be shared as replicable project templates. Work within neighborhoods of focus will be informed by neighbor input. Obtaining input will be done thoughtfully by meeting people of different ages and levels of civic participation where they are. All right, moving right along. We did have a few last moment changes to the agenda this morning. However, they have been updated in the live document, which I can see several of you are accessing right now. So if I could please have a motion to approve the agenda as it stands right now. If you looked at it yesterday, it's only changed very, very moderately to this morning.
I will motion to approve.
Thank you.
Can you hear
Erica.
me? Perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And Almaye will second. Thank you so much. Also, thank you, Erica Young, for sending out last month's meeting minutes via email to all commission members. If you have not had a chance to take a look at those here, please review for just a few moments. It's 2 pages. You should be able to get through that. And then I will accept a motion to approve the March meeting minutes. If there are no concerns with the document as it stands right now, I suppose.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Chris. We got some speed reading going on here. I can see it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for taking your responsibility to check the minutes seriously.
I actually don't think I received them, so I'll abstain.
Okay.
Lori Beth, do you want me to share my screen and pull them up?
Sure.
Let me grab them here.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's probably a good idea. I should do more of that. Thank you, Erica.
I'm just really bad at navigating Zoom technology, so bear with my technical issues here. And I'm not sure what we're seeing right now, but
We see it.
you see them? Perfect.
Mhm.
Scroll down.
Now we don't. I see
Now
you.
I see your documents.
Oh, geez. Here we are.
Sorry,
Okay,
on
let's try
my
this.
It's all good.
Maybe this way.
Do- Oh, okay, there it is.
Perfection.
We'll get there. Please let me know if I'm scrolling too fast.
You're going at the right speed for me. Thank you so much.
No problem. I'll share until we take a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve from Chris, but then we went back to review. So now I will have a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Homie.
you.
And thank you, Erica.
No problem.
All right. Well, heck, that means we get to talk with Counselor Kraus. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. One of our focus points is and has been paid cleanups, and Counselor Kraus is here to share with us about the Southside program that is in process regarding this.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks. It's really good to be here. And happy to share a little bit of, I guess, our strategy, if you will. Many of you, I'm sure, are aware of the South Side, East Carson Street, and the many challenges that we face on a multitude of levels. But one of them is clearly waste management. When I came into office, probably the number one call we got from across the council district had to do with parking. It's still a big issue, but the number one call, no matter what, it exceeds every other call we get, is around waste management. And whoever the demographic might be, their inability to manage their waste appropriately. So Third Council District has Southside Flat Slopes. It has hilltop neighborhoods of Arlington, Allentown, Belts Hoover, Knoxville, Mount Oliver City, St. Clair, Arlington Heights, and Mount Washington. And then we also go over into all of South and Central Oakland. So it is clearly the most diverse council district of the 9, and presents the most opportunities for mismanagement of waste across every demographic you can imagine. So you go into Oakland after a weekend and you're going to see red cup hell, and there will be red cups and pizza boxes and mismanaged trash everywhere. You can imagine up in our hilltop neighborhoods, they're probably some of the most disrespected neighborhoods in terms of outside city limit contractors coming to dump construction debris in those neighborhoods. And then we have, of course, the South Side and all the challenges that it faces with East Carson Street. So to focus in specifically, though, on what we're doing to try to manage waste on Carson Street, which is why I'm here, I'll tell you about. So during the early 80s and into the 90s, we had a local development company here called Southside Local Development, and they did employ one person that came out maybe like 3 times a week to try to manage the waste on Carson Street. And it was effective for its time. But when Southside Local Development Company closed their doors somewhere in the early, I guess, 2000s, there was no coordinated effort to manage the impact of participants in East Carson Street in a coordinated way. And we had to figure out some kind of a solution, because as a member of council, first and foremost, I'm a fiduciary agent of the city. Our primary role is to manage the budget. And for me to charge city residents through tax dollar with the responsibility of cleaning up largely a constituent that comes from outside the city to participate in East Carson Street and make them pay the bill for keeping it clean at all times, I couldn't justify. And I had to find a different way to raise the necessary dollars to be able to manage the street. Everyone who operates a business on the street, regardless of what kind of business it is, has the right to conduct their business in a clean and orderly corridor. I was greatly concerned about a number of daytime businesses we have that had to come in and clean up anything anything that you can imagine, from urine to feces to vomit to pizza to broken liquor bottles to all kinds of single-use plastic that you can imagine, and it really did become a challenge. So under the Peduto administration, he had a deputy chief of staff at one point in time named John Fournier. And John and I sat down and tried to figure out a way that we could raise necessary dollars to put a clean team on the street on a regular basis without charging taxpayers to do it. And so collectively, we came up with this idea of collecting revenue from parking meters, sequestering that money, almost like a business improvement district, and through legislation, limiting the use of those funds to a very defined area of East Carson Street. And you would have thought that I don't know what, that I had done the most unbelievably, horrible thing I could have possibly done. How dare you charge someone for parking? That's just, everybody has the right to free parking, and everybody has the right to have the space in front of the door where they're going. And, and I could not believe the opposition that I met. Even Mayor Peduto was adamantly opposed to it, that we had never charged parking at night. We had only charged parking in the daylight hours, 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday. I remember when I came into office, I had met with some administrators at the time who will remain nameless. And I tried to explain to them the challenges that we were facing, that my week really begins Thursday night and doesn't end until Monday morning. But city services are all geared from Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And I explained to these administrators who are no longer with the city, that these were the challenges I was facing, and this was the help that I needed. And what I got from these administrators, I swear as I sit here, they said to me, they didn't call me councilman, they didn't call me Bruce, they didn't call me Mr. Kraus, they called me pal. And they said, pal, if it happens after 3 o'clock on a Friday and before 7 o'clock on a Monday, you're on your own. And they got up and walked out of the meeting. And that was sort of the starting point of how the hell, excuse my French, do you reinvent the culture of a city to understand that successful cities operate 24/7, 365, right? People choose to live where they choose to live for a multitude of reasons. Is there good housing stock? Is it affordable? Can I find a place to live? Can I find employment? Is the employment satisfying? Does it pay a fair wage? Can I have benefits with that employment? Can I educate children if I choose to have children? Can I further my education if I choose to do so? But if I'm not at work, not at home, not at school, what do you want to do? We want to socialize. We're social beings. These kinds of spaces are incredibly important for us to be able to be out, gather together, share, break a loaf of bread, share, intimacies with our neighbors and socialize. And so East Carson Street is clearly a prime example of how that is so very important. And so what do we do to protect those areas of socializing as it relates to making sure they're clean and neat and orderly at all times, regardless who's using them? So it took us about probably 2 years to convince the naysayers, and there was not one person that supported the idea, to convince the naysayers that this actually was a viable opportunity, that we could basically charge people that come to use the services of the South Side to make certain that it is clean and orderly and well maintained. So after about 2 years or so of petitioning, we did launch the project and we began collecting parking revenue at 617, I believe the number is, meters in the South Side from on Friday and Saturday nights from 6 p.m. until midnight. And through legislation, sequestered those dollars legally had to be returned back to the business district to provide for infrastructure improvement, cleanliness, and public safety. And so we are now in our 4th, maybe 5th year of doing this. We have extended the collection to Thursday nights as well. So we collect Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. Soon we are to collect Sunday nights, because really Sunday has become our most impactful evening. And through the years, we collect on an average about $220,000 a year. When you think about that, we're talking quarters on 6 hours a night on a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. We are able to amass about $220,000 a year. We now sit at almost $900,000 that has been collected. Had it not been for a pandemic and the impact that it had on the business district, we would have exceeded $1 million at this point in time. And this year, 2022, we will exceed $1 million having been collected through Parking Enhancement District. And so what that allows us to do is to provide for cameras on the street for public safety. It provides for us to do infrastructure improvements as necessary. And it provides for us to have a clean team on the street, at least 2 people every day of the week, Monday through Sunday, and not having to charge taxpayers to perform those services, which is the biggest positive of it. So on any given month, the clean team will gather approximately 1,600 pounds of improperly disposed of waste. So whether that is pizza boxes, whether that is cocktail napkins, whether that is glass, whether that is single-use plastic, we average about 1,600 pounds of waste collected on a monthly basis. They perform services like power washing sidewalks, power washing garbage cans, making sure that they're clean at all times, lined like you see downtown with the yellow garbage bags for easy collection for Public Works to pick those up. They do graffiti removal, sticker removal, and basically serve as ambassadors on the street to guide people to where they might be needing to go, or services that they're looking for, or businesses that they might be looking for as well. And right now we have 2 full-time people. They're Mike and Artie. They have been our clean team ambassadors for, I want to say, the better part of 3 years now. They are personally known by probably 70% of residents that live in the South Side. They're very friendly, very approachable. People know them by name, thank them regularly for the services that they perform. We are about to add a third person to the clean team because of the ongoing impact of people simply not knowing how to find a garbage can, be responsible about managing their waste on a personal level, and so we're challenged with picking up after them. So we're about to add a third person at the end of or beginning of May because of the continuation of the impact. We have the summer months ahead of us, which we expect to be even more impactful than fall or winter months. And so we want to be prepared for that. We report out every month to an organization known as the Southside Planning Forum, so that all of the revenue, the recording and disbursing of revenue is very much a matter of public record. We report out to neighborhood organizations every month as to what we've spent, what is in the account, what expenses we expect to have coming, and the amount of waste that we have collected, and what we anticipate to be prepared for in the future. So our mission now, if you will, more than anything else, is to reinforce the concept of reduction, that this idea that we can continue to produce single-use waste and only go out and pick it up, and that it is a free-for-all, if you will, for anybody at any point in time whatsoever to feel completely entitled to use single-use waste and then leave it in the streets, is not sustainable. We can't continue to do that for the rest of our lives. And so our real mission now is to educate in terms of reduction first, reuse second, recycle third, and then ultimately dispose of fourth. And hopefully through a concerted and diligent education process, we might actually make some inroads to get people to understand the importance of if you don't need to take that, perhaps it's okay to say no. I'm sure you heard this week, Council passed the ban unanimously on plastic bags, which really was a 12 or 13-year process to actually get business to understand the importance of reduction of single-use plastic bags. But by taking our time, being diligent, and never losing sight of the fight, we actually were able to engage business into actually understanding, cooperating, and wanting to be leaders in the reduction of single-use plastic bags. So I think we can do the same thing in our business districts with single-use containers and get business to understand the importance of reduction first, reuse second, recycle third, and disposal fourth. So I told you a whole lot in a very short period of time, but I hope that helps to understand what we're doing in the parking enhancement district on the south side. And I'm happy to take any questions that you might have and to further define what we're doing.
That's so great. And I've learned so much so quickly here about the green team on the south side there. I know you've had talks with other districts and other areas about ways they could possibly replicate your model, but nobody else gets parking quite like the south side. So what was the best suggestions you've heard from other districts who would like to do the same thing, but parking wasn't going to be the funding?
Yeah, I think ultimately we're going to have to reimagine what a parking enhancement district really looks like. In terms of Southside, we want to reduce vehicles. We don't want people bringing vehicles as much as possible. We were having great success before the pandemic, encouraging rideshare platforms and for people to use those as opposed to bringing their vehicles. We are under construction right now on Carson Street with about a $20 million project that is funded through PennDOT. It is a state project because the Carson Street is a state highway, but the project is focused solely on improving safety on the East Carson Street corridor. So whether it is a personal vehicle, public transportation, bike, scooter, or pedestrian, the project is geared to improve safety for anyone that uses the street. But the driving factor as to why we as taxpayers collectively are investing $18 million into East Carson Street is that the danger was connected directly to DUI, and that we were found to be the 6th most dangerous stretch of road in the state of Pennsylvania based on DUI. So for me as an elected official to continue to advocate to bring more cars into food and beverage business where people can consume alcohol and drive cars, if I were to continue to advocate for that platform, you have to vote me out, because that is not where we should be going. And so that presents and brings back to Parking Enhancement District the real challenge. If we're collecting revenue from people that are driving into these districts, how do we balance safe and responsible consumption of alcohol, no one driving under the influence, and at the same time using the vehicle as a means of collection of revenue to be able to perform the clean services that we want to see? So that right there, that presents a challenge of sustainability. How do we continue to do that in the out years? And is that the exact model we want to replicate in other council districts? You know, I think there are certainly parts of it we want to, but do we want to do it in its entirety? The biggest challenge that other council districts face is the number of meters that they have to collect parking revenue, and the fact that the legislation calls for specific areas around a parking enhancement district must be part of the residential permit parking program, so as to not force vehicles off of the main street and further clog residential areas. So we do have that in the south side. Everything around parking enhancement district is surrounded with residential permit parking. So two things: the number of meters that they contain by which they can actually collect revenue to make it beneficial to do the program, and number two, making certain that the residential areas that surround those business districts participate in the residential permit parking program. So those are the two biggest challenges. I think the council district most ripe for the benefit of a parking enhancement district would probably be Bobby Wilson, being that he has North Shore. Bobby Wilson and Councilman Lavelle, being they have a lot of the North Shore, a lot of the impact that comes in around our sports activities and those kinds of things, I think would make those meters ripe for benefit from parking enhancement district. I know Councilwoman Gross is very interested in it as well in terms of how it impacts Butler Street, Lawrenceville, the Strip District, and those kinds of neighborhoods. I think she could benefit as well, and possibly even Councilwoman Strasburger, although even I don't know that there's enough on Walnut and Ellsworth to be impactful enough. But I'm certainly happy to work with them. And they have expressed desire to learn more about it, to see if it would work. And if they're interested, of course, I'm more than happy to assist in any way I can to see if we can bring that in. Key is reduction. That's, I mean, that is key to everything. Well, you know, how are we going to be responsible consumers? You know, and how do we first and foremost reduce? I was lucky to be in Washington, D.C. 2 weekends ago to a responsible hospitality conference. I was in New York a few years back at the same conference, and I was delighted to see that everywhere I went, I was asked, "Do you want a bag?" And I responded, "First, thank you for asking me. No, I don't want a bag. And thanks for being mindful for the fact that I don't have to take this out in a bag." You know, simple things like that. I think we can find cooperation with business to say, if you're eating pizza late at night, you know, and I'm not here to pump up any single business, okay? But there is a pizza shop on the south side that puts the pizza simply in a brown paper bag. And then there are those that choose the 4-corner square cardboard box for a single slice of pizza. So what's the more responsible container to take away, right? We find the pizza boxes in the street all the time, but we never find that single little brown paper bag. For some reason, I think that consumer just feels a higher responsibility to take less packaging, and the packaging they take dispose of properly. I know that's a lot, but we are passionate about the subject, and Sarah Shea will confirm. She and I have been in the conversation of waste management for as many years as I've known her, which is something like 17. But I think it's the most important topic that we face, really, as a nation, and as caretakers of the planet. You know, we are strangling the planet through single-use container, and there has to be a better way to do it.
Go, Bruce. Keep up the good work on the south side.
Hi, Sarah. Well, you know, the work, it is global, you know, but it does, Louise Hay is a wonderful spiritual teacher. Louise Hay has a saying that goes, heal yourself, heal the world. If we just each accept our own personal responsibility in caring for the planet, and everyone took that seriously, guess what? We wouldn't have the problems that we're having, you know. And I wish there was a way to really get people to understand the responsibility that we have. How does it go? We don't own the planet. We just borrow it from our children, when we have a responsibility to return it to them in the best manner that we can. And the way we're doing it right now it's not the best. It's not the highest and best order that we owe them. I am passionate about the subject. I really am. So, yeah. Any other questions? Happy to take. Sally Stradelman, ask me a question. I think she might have checked out on me. She and I have had this conversation at length too.
Sally's a very busy person who has moved positions at least once since I've joined the commission, and is still here working with us, and we appreciate Sally a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you, Counselor. Does anyone else have any questions for Counselor Kraus?
Sure. Yeah, I just have one. Hi, Councilman Kraus. Thanks so much for coming on and talking with us. And that's a really awesome initiative to hear about. I wasn't familiar with it. I work with PRC as well, and joined back in 2019. And so we used to be on the south side, but now we're over on the north side.
I hate that you're not on the south side anymore. I hate it.
I do miss it much of the time, except for coming back from events at 1 a.m. with a U-Haul on the south side, which was interesting always. But so thinking about, working with some of the businesses on the south side and waste reduction, like you were talking about, electing for the more minimal packaging, that's often a lesser cost to the business, and then lesser waste to deal with on the front end, like on the public side from your clean teams. Perspective. I wonder, have you guys done any work with like the business associations, or done any outreach with them on like just having a training or a discussion about waste reduction opportunities that are also cost saving?
Yes.
Something I think we definitely love to get involved in.
Yeah, we have at length, and not to pinpoint anyone individually, we've met our level of resistance. We want what we want, when we want it, the way we want it. And it is a culture that we're changing. There it is clearly a culture, and I think business plays the primary role in the shift of culture, and this is why I'm so over the top encouraged by someone like a Giant Eagle that would partner with us and really be one of the lead spokespersons in the reduction of single-use plastic bags.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that way 12 and 15 years ago. When I first came onto office, we were having those conversations, and what we were meeting from business was resistance that, no, you just simply can't do that. And here's the reasons you can't. But today, what we hear is now we have a greater responsibility here, and we understand our role here, and we actually want to be partners with you. That's a significant shift in culture. And I think that kind of a partnership is really what we want to see. It's really, one of the best things I've ever learned about being in a public office is it's not really about citing people into compliance. It's really more about educating people into compliance, and how do we do that? How do we build friendships and partnerships and understand that, we're all in this together? And how, what's the best way to work collectively and cooperatively? Our thing right now, one of the things we're focusing on right now on the Carson's Recorder is cigarette litter. And maybe Sarah might correct my numbers if I'm a little bit off, but when I first met Pennsylvania Resources Council and I met Sarah, there wasn't a campaign they were doing then that talked about one cigarette filter will contaminate something like 48,000 gallons of water with something like 16 known carcinogenic chemicals. And something like 300 trillion cigarette butts hit the streets of this nation on an annual basis. Now, that was 15, 17 years ago. So you can only imagine the impact that, just that casual disregard of tossing that cigarette butt on the street has, years and years and years of impact. That one brief moment of just not thinking through your action and the kind of impact it has for generations to come. So we received a grant through Southside Community Council. I want to give them kudos. They got several hundred cigarette litter containers, and that they will be collected by the clean team, and those cigarette butts will actually be weighed so that we know the amount that is being collected, and they will actually go into recycling centers and they will be recycled. I don't know how they do that. I honestly can't say, but there is a system by which they recycle them, and they will be recycled. So we make, little inroads every day.
Awesome. Thanks, Councilman. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Emily.
We are also, the commission, Councilor Kraus is working on a creative solution for collecting cigarette butt litter with our ballot box program that is in process right now. So we look forward to working with you and the clean team on that in the future. I
think it is one of the most clever things I have heard of in all the years I've been fighting the fight. Who wouldn't want it's almost like playing a game, right? Whatever the question might be. Will you tell the public at large a little bit more about how that's going to work and how you'll select the question and put your answer by putting your butt in?
Yeah, we've discussed these at these meetings. We'll have an update. They're finally through customs, so they're on our way here. They've been stuck at the border for like a month and a half. We thought we'd have them by now, but the ballot bin is a bright yellow large container for your cigarette butts we'll put out on the streets, and it asks you to choose an answer to a question, and those are highly customizable. We'll say, what's more Pittsburgh? Is it fries on a salad or fries on a sandwich? And you can take your cigarette butt and put it in there, and you see who's winning. Which one does the people have a lot of choice? It's very engaging. It's very colorful. It's very fun. It's not lecturing people. It's just getting things off the ground. It's had a lot of success in the UK where this is based, and we're very excited to have those in. We'll be working with nighttime economy districts. We met with the nighttime economy committee, whatever it was, the groups of nighttime economy businesses earlier to discuss how we're going to roll these out. And we were going to work with not only businesses, but community groups, whoever wants to take a little ownership over it, choose the question, and just maintain it and empty them, recycle them, all the great things. We're going to work with everybody to provide it. So we're very excited about that.
It's so very clever. It just, again, it's one of those ways of educating people into compliance, not citing them into compliance, and actually, making it a fun thing to do. When you shared that with me, Chris, when we did our walk, it was one of the most enlightened approaches I've heard of in years and years and years. I think it's great. And, as long as we're on the subject of nighttime economy, I would like to give a shout out. Allison Harnden is our nighttime economy coordinator. And I had the pleasure of meeting Allison it's at least 15, it's probably closer to 17 years ago, when I traveled to San Francisco to learn about nighttime economy and this organization known as the Responsible Hospitality Institute, and to learn about how cities across the world really were learning to welcome and embrace food and beverage business and socializing businesses, and how important they are to our economy, and why we should protect them and not allow them to spiral out of control and become problematic and all those things. And through the years, Allison and I became very good friends, and we were lucky about 5 years ago now to actually steal her away from the Responsible Hospitality Institute and to bring her here to be our nighttime economy coordinator. She has, 30 years, I want to say, experience with I don't know how many dozens and dozens of major cities across the United States that she has worked with to find best practices and policies and procedures. And I cannot shout her praises enough, and how lucky we are to have her here in the city. So there.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Have I taken up enough of your time?
We appreciate your continued support for the commission, and always your enthusiasm for the work that we all do collectively and separately.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure being here this morning. Thank you for allowing me to come.
Thank you so much. We will let the counselor go on to their very, I'm sure, full schedule for the day. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Have a great holiday, everybody.
Thanks, Councilman.
Yep. Bye. Thank you.
And we're going to move forward with talking about a little bit about just a quick update on Pick Up Pittsburgh. But before I go any farther, I said I was going to say this at the jump and I forgot. I actually have a conflict this morning, so I will be bowing out quietly at about 11:15 if we're still going at that point, which is fine. I'm just saying my goodbyes now so I don't have to interrupt whomever will be speaking at that time. So take it away, Chris.
And I will take over the MC duties as she's gone, and we'll miss her. So Alicia was supposed to join us today. She ran into a last minute conflict. She will be joining us again, hopefully next month, to give us a little bit more in detail. We did want to talk some about the future of Pickup PGH. We know those contracts are still ongoing from when we first signed them. Still good work being done. Pickup PGH, for I think everybody here knows, but just for the watchers at home, the viewers, was our attempt at recognizing the value of the volunteer work that is keeping Pittsburgh going. We're overly reliant on volunteers and cleaning up our streets. And it's just sort of not a fair system, right? Where people make money basically flooding our streets with litter because of the single use, because of not giving enough resources to do anything with all the trash after it's in their hands. And then we have to rely on unpaid labor to clean it all up. It's not an equitable system. It's not fair to residents. And it also leads to a huge disparity of the cleanliness of streets, because some places people may have more time to dedicate to this than others. And so we'll see a very real difference in the quality of life for residents based on this volunteer work. So when this was piloted, we very specifically chose areas that have suffered redlining, that have suffered disinvestment. Allegheny Cleanways and Operation Better Block was who the contract was awarded to in the first pilot program. Now that we have seen the positive aspects of it, and I'll let Alicia talk more about what we've seen, and I'll let I think we've had presentations from both Allegheny Cleanways and Operation Better Block of what they've done so far, and we're very pleased with the results. We want to find new avenues to continue that. We don't want it to always have to come out of the Clean Pittsburgh Commission money, because we always want to sort of pilot things and hand it off to the city or other resources that can manage it after we've proved its worth. So that's going to be the next steps we want to pick up PGH, and that's why also we had Councilman Bruce Krause here today to talk about how they were able to fund this sort of work and learn from it, and maybe think about the future of Pick Up PGH in the same way of thinking of outside the box funding. How do we take the money that people are bringing into the south side to mess it up, to specifically clean it up? We don't want to charge the taxpayers necessarily for this work, but we do know that it does need paid for. So I don't know if we have any questions on Pick Up PGH. That was my somewhat ignorant roundup of what I know about it and what we want to do with it in the future, but it's still sort of open-ended at this moment. And that's all right if we don't have any questions. I think we're all on the same page then. Excellent. I will let Alicia talk more about that. She is plugging her brain away at trying to find the best way to present this within the city, within the county, with whoever will listen. This is something worth taking forward. So we'll have updates on that as we go. So why don't we just move right into how the Esplin collection event went. I know that Sarah had to jump off and she gave us a couple of stats, but Myrna's here and she can tell us about it. The collection event is something that we've sort of been told for a long time. Everyone's first idea is put a dumpster out there. Put a dumpster out there, let people come up and just toss whatever they want in there. And it's makes a lot of sense as a first idea, but we have to be careful about what we put in there. Everything can't go into that single stream. We have to make sure things are separated at a source, and we may have to make sure that things are it doesn't get too heavy, all this stuff. So it's been a long road of kind of struggling what to do with this idea of put a dumpster out there is, and this was a great first attempt at that, at manning the dumpster. Having people there separating out the e-waste, the tires, and making sure things don't get out of hand very quickly. So I'll turn it over to Myrna to tell us how it went.
Thanks. Yeah, it went swimmingly. It was just fantastic. Our staff loved it, as you can imagine. That it was just a huge success as far as they were concerned, because everything they collected were things that we find typically in dump sites. And so we were presenting that. Collected 4.37 tons of trash from a fairly small community. That Esplin's a very small community, actually. So that's great news. And 22 tires were also collected that day. I don't have the stats from Sarah. You'll have to give those, Chris. But
I actually think I got the eLoop invoice here. So we definitely got less televisions than we expected, less e-waste in general than we expected. But still, I think it was, let's see. About 199 pounds of televisions. Wait, is that 199 individual televisions? I just looked at this for the first time, so I don't know exactly what I'm looking at. But I think I've got about 7 pallets of e-waste that went out that day. So nice.
I have 1,500 pounds of e-waste. That's what Sarah said.
You got a better eyes on that than I do. I was like, oh.
Yeah. And this, just a note of kind of the history of this. This was an idea that, as Chris said, we've been mulling for years, or trying to get going for years, and was actually part of the original budget that we proposed, or that we put forth for approval. And in fact, when we met with former Mayor Peduto, I think our original request just had a few. We were going to try to pilot it, or have just a few. And his suggestion was to do one in every council district. And then the full budget wasn't approved, and so we had to make some cuts. And that was one of the things that got cut, because it's not inexpensive. And but I'm really glad that we started with a community like Esplin, because it was very doable. It was very doable in a quick, it was a fairly quick turnaround, and it was hugely successful. So I think that it's a great pilot, and show that it can be done, and can be done. And when I say it's not inexpensive, comparatively, especially if you compare it to cleaning up the illegally dumped trash, it's extremely affordable, and a much way, and it's a service, that I think that we as the city can provide to residents. So I love it. It's great. Like to do more.
For this pilot, we wanted to make sure that we were serving our neighborhood of focus very specifically. And so we had to be kind of quiet on social media. We couldn't promote it too much. We had to keep it within some very specific bounds. So we ended up using door hangers for the residents, just because there's only about 100 or so homes in this neighborhood. But I'm very pleased with how everything went. I think this is definitely something we can take to multiple sources, multiple divisions or departments, all get some buy-in on, because it seems like everybody's asked for something like this at some point. Sarah's got her hand up.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. You probably know what I'm going to say here, but when POI performs emergency or even planned demolitions, we find that the vacant lot is then used as a dumping ground. So if you found success in this program, I would ask that, perhaps we connect on setting up a place for people, maybe for a limited time, to throw away items in a responsible way on these vacant lots that become just a target for dumping items following city demolition. And we're performing demolition on long condemned structures where there was no activity, and people are sometimes throwing garbage on the condemned structures. So those structures are gone, but the vacant lot is still there. So just something for the DPW and our partners to consider.
That's interesting. Do you find that, like, the newly deconstructed or torn down lots are more hit than the regular vacant lots that were already standing for a long time?
That's a good question. I don't know. I just am sort of responding or reacting to the types of complaints that we get in after we've demolished a structure. And it just seems like for the first maybe 2 to 3 weeks, when we have this fresh lot, we see a lot of illegal dumping on it.
Huh. Very interesting. All right. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Just to respond to Sarah's, we have looked at ways to have a dumpster ongoing, because unfortunately, our needs for disposal are not always on a particular day, right? That happens all the time. Someone dies, need to clean out the house, and you can't wait a month until there's a collection event or whatever. So it would be great. I guess the ideal is that there'd be a dumpster always available for people to use. the problem with that, and the problem with having it even for an extended period of time is, as Chris alluded to, things get thrown in there that shouldn't be or that can't be. And so there does need to be some monitoring of it. And then the other issue is not everyone has access to vehicles to be able to get to the dumpster. And so that's why we went with the 1 day where we were available to actually be there to monitor and to collect. But I'm with you. I would love to see, some way, and maybe we can figure that out. But right now, we haven't.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I totally understand the operational logic and why that makes sense. That just reminds me of a really quick story. We had performed a city-funded demolition and left the site, and the next morning there were like 7 paint cans in the middle of the lot, and those are hard to get rid of. So it just seemed pretty, they were like, oh, the city was there, the city will take care of this, and they left the paint cans for us the next day, and a neighbor called to complain. So understood what you mean as well, folks throwing things out that, shouldn't just be in the general bin.
And it is helpful to us to have more ideas of who as a commission to work with for some of these pain points across the city. I know that Chris and I have had some conversations of like, well, how do we do that? How do we work together with, the other departments? So that may be an opportunity for us with PLI specifically, especially when I know, sometimes the demolitions will happen in little clusters or something like that, that we might be able to set up a parallel something or other. So thank you. Okay. Is that Esplin? Is that Esplin in a nutshell? All right. So then we will, I would like to just go ahead and kind of skip-ish the finance committee updates because no finance committeeers are here right now, but I do believe that we, at least as a piggyback on Esplin, that we came in under budget for that event. So yay. That's my mini finance update.
I do have one thing for finance, for budget to bring up for our cameras. We had to have Allegheny City Electric go out and repair one of our outlets that the cameras are plugged into in the electricity poles. And so I'd like to have a vote to pay that invoice for Allegheny City Electric for repairing one of our things. I think, I should have entered that into some sort of thing. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to send everybody an email and ask for an email vote on that because I did not prepare to have that ready for everybody and should have given it to you beforehand. So that's my fault. Watch for an email from me by end of day asking for a vote on that. Thank you.
Thank you. I guess it's still just going to be Chris to share with us the annual report.
So I think we have the final version of the annual report ready to go. I say final, if we can still add anything probably by this weekend or something, but we do want to share that out as soon as possible. It should have been attached to your calendar invite along with the agenda. Lori has graciously proofread it for me because my intern has been promoted and I am notorious for these sort of mistakes without having an intern to lean on. So I want to thank everybody for all the times we have bothered you for information to put in here and all the great information that everybody has shared. And if anybody has anything else they'd like to add or point out or fix, we've got a little bit of time, but I'm going to say by next, let's say Monday. By Monday, we're going to consider this final and put it up on the website, share it out with everybody and anybody who may be interested in it.
I'm showing it to you right now. Those links to the attached documents are in the middle of the calendar invite email. I know every once in a while my eyeballs just skim right over them. So it's beautifully formatted and really touches on all of our things we have going on. And I have to show it to you really fast so that I can go back to the agenda while I'm screen sharing at the same time. Yay! So by Monday on the annual report. And it is time for member organization updates. I am going to go to my meeting. So thank you all. Chris will take care of you and we'll see you. Our next meeting is May 12th. We are not done yet. So member organization updates. Thank you all. Good to see you.
All right, open it up for updates from everybody. Go ahead.
I'll kick us off since my camera's on. We've got a lot. I mean, everyone has a lot. It's Earth Month, so lots of stuff happening. This weekend we kick off our riverfront cleanup season with a cleanup at Duck Hollow, and we'll be working with Friends of the Riverfront and Nine Mile Run Watershed Association. Their new name is Upstream. My apologies. So yeah, that'll be a great one, and hopefully the weather will be conducive. Earth Day next week. Lots of stuff happening. Our Litter League kicks off. We also have a riverfront cleanup outside of the city, but still, everyone's welcome to join. It's up near Verona, the mouth of Sandy Creek. And then the following week, we'll be back at Seldom Seen Greenway doing another cleanup of that. Still working, chipping away at that decades-old dump site. At the end of the month, on April 30th into May 1st, we have our second annual Tri-Trash-a-thon. And for those of you who don't know what that is a biking, dump site cleanup, and camping. Those are the tri parts of it. And overnight event. This year we've added a water cleanup as well. So it's biking to McKeesport, doing a dump site cleanup there, camping overnight, doing a riverfront cleanup, and biking back. So quite the athletic weekend for anyone. Also, you know, lots of other events, litter kits going out all over the place, and our regular dump busters program happening at this point 6 days a week. Also, we just recently donated the nine cameras to the city for surveillance. So those will be going up shortly. At least some of them will be going up shortly. That's all for us.
Awesome, Myrna. I've always wanted to join for the Tri-Triathlon ever since I heard about it. Same weekend as marathon weekend, so can't do it. But it's all the things I love. So yeah, PRC is kicking off a lot of our programs into like actual in-person stuff this month. So we're starting this weekend with our first household hazardous waste collection of the year, this Saturday, April 16th at PPG Paints Arena. We still have plenty of spaces open for folks to register. So I think we've got some stuff up on our social media if you guys feel like sharing it out to anyone. Yeah, folks do have to register in advance. So yeah, if you know anyone who's got paint cans to get rid of, first opportunity to do so. This will be followed by a number of other household hazardous waste collections. April 30th, we've got one in Beaver County. Our full schedule is like We've also got one the 7th in North Park, 7th of May. And then they kind of just keep rolling throughout pretty much every third weekend in different parts of Southwestern PA. Our hard to recycle collection won't kick off until June 4th. We have our first one of those up in Tarentum. So all of those are posted on our website, prc.org. You can go see in all of the 2022 schedule up there. We just started our zero waste events program too with the MS Walk last weekend. We got events pretty much every weekend through, I'm scheduled up until the Arts Fest pretty much. So, and I'm still hiring for a lot of those. So if you know anyone who wants to work and pick up a couple shifts for $15 an hour to be a zero waste ambassador, a zero waste goalie, basically at our events, got lots of opportunities to do so, mostly at the marathon on May 1st. So especially early in the morning. And let's see, we've got I don't know if you got, this is like on a personal update for PRC staffing. Our longtime education coordinator, our education manager, Nancy, is retiring at the end of this year. So if you know her, send her some well wishes. She's going to be doing either the Appalachian Trail or like the Discovery Walk, which is like across the country walking. Wild. But we just brought on our new education coordinator, and we are also hiring still currently for our e-waste and HHW program support. It's a recycling operations specialist. So we are actively interviewing for that role now. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Totally. Sounds great. Love PRC, heart. Yeah, so environmental services, recycling, we've got a lot going on here. We are gearing up for our Southern distribution of recycling cans. That's kind of slated to happen mid-May. We'll be working with Rarick Pacific and some vendors to distribute cans throughout our Southern neighborhoods. They will be receiving a postcard in the mail, just to help. We had some voice to, helping District 8 and Erica Strasburger with the bag ban, or not, it's not a bag ban, but, reducing the use of single-use plastics. That's also important in the recycling stream as well. So we are all trying to work on reducing the amount of single-use plastics that are used in our city. And the blue bin will help with that as well. We do have also a yard debris. Prior to that, we have a yard debris collection coming up on the 23rd of April. Is a Saturday, and it's going to be all around, all over the city. So get those bramble, and I don't know. I don't have a yard, so the terminology kind of escapes me. But leaves, all that's great stuff. Get it in bags, paper bags, bundle those twigs. We will be coming to collect it, and we will be sending it off to wood waste for processing. And yeah, that's happening as well. We'll also have some mulch collection happening soon after that date. We don't have anything set in stone completely, but we'll be announcing that. We don't have a lot, and it won't be as broad as our previous pickups have been. Previously, we were all over the city, but capacity issues have led us to just kind of keep it to what was collected as part of our Christmas tree collection this previous holiday season, and that will be again at the zoo overflow parking lot, the laydown area behind the zoo. And yeah, that will be first come, first serve. Once we run out, it's over. Pine mulch, good for mulching, and I guess blueberries and roses. Yeah, so that's what we are doing as well in that front. And also we will be announcing soon enough our new e-waste and HHW collections. We're hoping to have that up and going in May as well. A little bit, some things are similar, we're trying to keep pricing as close to as what we previously had. And, some, days during the week and also weekend day as well. But we're happy to finally offer again an option for people to dispose of the hard to recycle electronics and also household hazardous waste to keep it out of our streams and off of our hillsides, because yep, it's an ongoing problem. But yeah, we'll have something to announce for that soon. But yeah, stay tuned and thank you guys. I think that's it. Chris, do you have anything else for our department? I didn't get.
Speaking for environmental services broadly, the posting for the anti-litter inspectors has gone live. We're already getting applications for that. It'll be up for the next for a full month. I think it's been about a week now. Very excited about that. We are hiring 2 this year. We have a timeline of what the responsibilities that they will be handling as the team grows, with an eye towards 8 full-time anti-litter inspectors in 2025. As we gain new inspectors each year, the amount of things that they absorb from other departments will grow. We are on track to get them in existing city services like Computronics and things like that for citing and enforcement, where everything's moving very smoothly on that, and everybody seems to be very happy with the idea of the absorption schedule, with all trash enforcement in the city being handled by these 8 individuals by 2025. So I'm very excited about that, and we'll have more updates on Gold as we go.
And I have one quick update for the Department of Permits, Licenses, and Inspections. Many of you may be aware that City Council passed an update to Title 13, which is the stormwater ordinance for the city of Pittsburgh, which really has to do with big developments that are disturbing quite a lot of surface or soil, or creating a lot of impervious surface. The goal being to stop runoff and really ensure that water is collected on site as much as possible before it's conveyed to our stormwater system. So beginning on March 31st, 2022, we are accepting a stormwater permit for the review, inspection, and insurance of compliance under Title 13. So it's something new that PLI is doing and performing inspections against, so that we can stay in compliance with our EPA stormwater permit and ensure that runoff and litter that comes with runoff is not making it into our water resources.
I have 2 that I forgot. One is we have a big litter cleanup in Lincoln Leamington on also on Earth Day. And that's coordinated by the community, and they've just asked us to assist with that. And then also we will be hiring a program manager probably sometime late May, and another dump buster crew leader. So keep your eyes out. Want to have a good pool of candidates.
Can I do a quick update as well?
I'm going to tell you yes, because it looks like.
Okay, thanks. Okay, yeah, because I'm like Chris is in 2 places. And I'm sorry, I stepped out for a call, and so I didn't hear Myrna's update. So I'm sorry if this is repetitive. So we have literally coming up, we have the kickoff on Earth Day, but it's an 8-week program. There's a colleague division this year and a neighborhood division. So the colleague division will be more corporate focused. So employees will create teams and compete against each other for prizes and be part of tournaments, and it'll be a lot of fun. So we still have a few spots for a few more teams. That part it's $1,000 donation that comes with a lot of benefits as well. And then And then on the neighborhood division, it'll be different neighborhoods competing against each other. And I think we already have 5 or 6 neighborhoods. So we have more room for more as well. And that is free. So 10 neighbors or community members can get together and be part of a team. And if someone doesn't have a team, but they want to be part of it, they can still sign up as a free agent, and we'll help match them to a team, or a bunch of free agents will become a team. So they will compete as well, and there'll be tournaments for them and prizes. And it was a lot of fun last year. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it goes this year. We had some really creative participants making like trash monsters and things. So it was a lot of fun. So that's happening. And then we are focusing our spring very much on cleanup time. So we have cleanups going on next week in Junction Hollow, Duck Hollow, South Side, and Chateau the week after that as well. And so those are public and posted on our website. And yeah, we're just excited and a little overwhelmed with the amount of events happening over the next 2 weeks, as I'm sure everyone is. And that's it.
One additional thing about the Litter League, this year, our partnership with Cinderlands is generously providing a happy hour for the Litter League kickoff, and anyone that cleans up, so that's on Earth Day. And so saying this to everyone in the Pittsburgh area, anyone who picks up litter that day and can bring proof of that. So we're saying like a photo of you with like a bag of trash that you picked up, something like that, we'll be able to get a discount at Cinderlands for happy hour. So join in the fun.
All right, I kind of got kicked off my computer and ran over here. I still see myself on mine. I don't know how that works. It pulled like a Jamie Madrox, but like, if anybody else has anything else, we can go ahead and call a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everybody. Great news all around. I will see some of you this weekend at Duck Hollow, and that happy hour sounds good too. Good seeing everybody. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.